So we've just come out of that piece of movement, and this is where I am. So within the practice, once we come out, there's a sort of shift in consciousness to back into the eyes open, and then we look for a moment in the piece, a moment that feels alive or pulls our attention. So the moment I'm going to choose is towards the end, in the last couple of minutes, and I'm sitting down, I'm crouching very low, and I've got my back against this wall here, and it's connected to the wall from my tailbone up to the back of my head, so I can feel my shoulders, I can feel my skull and my tailbone all in contact with the wall. And I sense the cold wall and the hardness of it, and also the softness, the kind of padding in my coat. And I can sense the bones pressing through my flesh. So there's a hardness coming into the softness of the coat, coming into the hardness. And my arms are kind of tucked around my knees, so I'm crouching, and I've picked up a stone, and I'm holding the stone in between the palms of my hands. So the stone is inside, and again I can feel the bones in my hand into the soft tissue in my hand, and then the hard stone in the center of my palms. So I feel the softness and the hardness inside me, and that's connected to the hardness of this rock, this stone outside of me. And there's a real fluidity. I'm very connected to my fascia, which is like the connective tissue that is outside everything in our body. And I feel my body within my coat, so this kind of layering in my being, and a real fluidity within that layering. Like there's so much potential for movement here. Even when my body's very still, just the tiniest movement, there is fluidity. It's there's hard and soft, and then this fluid between these layers. And there's a lot of joy with that fluidity, because it's an ecstatic fluid. It's like juicy, and there's so much capacity for playfulness in that fascia, in that fluid fascia. And so even now, what is coming now is also the stillness that comes particularly from the connection to the stone and to the rock. So there's a playfulness and a movement, and also that's really supported by the contact with the rock behind me in particular, and then I get a sense of it with this small stone in my hand, that there's something from outside of my body that is supporting that fluidity, that it's through pressing against the rock on my back that it allows me to move. And that, if I move without the pressure behind me, it's more subtle or something like that. So I get, when I lean into my environment, when I lean into this stone, when I take this stone and press into it, the my sensory experience is heightened. And as I'm speaking now, a cat has appeared in the graveyard in front of me. And I'm also sensing the padding, the soft feline padding. Yeah, it's a good word. That was the word for my feet. I could feel the padding in the soft tissue of my feet. And the pads within my boots. This kind of feline quality of movement, even when my body is very still. You know, I wasn't moving around very much, but there was a kind of a stillness. And now I feel an alertness coming about. I'm like, I just want to get out into the environment and pad around. And yeah, it's a kind of pressing in and out. And what is landing for me now is it's like that pushing into the environment and receiving, pushing in, and that our movement comes from that. So even when we're moving, walking, my weight is going into my foot, into the ground, and then it's coming back out. So it's a constant reciprocity in and out, forwards and backwards, that I want to say undulation, but it's not. It's like it's like a kind of a and that's constant. So I feel connected to my own constant padding in and out, internally in my body, out externally, out into the environment around me, and the interplay between these things that is happening all the time. So with authentic movement, Janet Adler has described it as a mystical practice, and this is my experience of it. So through the movement, something very specific, tracking my body very specifically, I connect more deeply internally, externally. I have a sense of my own expansiveness. I'm questioning my own there, because it is through me, it is through this my physical body, and yet I am more expansive in my awareness, and I feel more connection, well, here particularly to the rock behind me. I don't feel my separateness so much. My separateness kind of fades away a bit as I come into these expansive experiences where there's more flow between everything, that again, that inner, outer. So I don't know how this relates to St. James yet. I'll discover it. I'm just going to follow this now. So I'm here every Monday for this period, and I think maybe at the end, or maybe it will emerge during the week between now and next Monday, where I'll find something out more about St. James. So how is my experience that I'm having here in the church, how is that relating to him or his story or his teachings, or maybe not at all, who knows. But if you'd like to be in touch, or if you've got any feedback from what you've heard me sharing, please do. I'll add my contact details in the section below on the YouTube clip. Thank you.